welcome back to another Maizeplus video. Recently I asked if there were any things that people wanted videos on explaining, and one of those questions was the difference between fresh, conditioned and semi-dry grass. And those are the three grass states that you can get on your way from cut grass through conditioned grass and then heading towards hay. For me, those differences really come when you're making grass silage bales, so I'm going to focus on that. Very quickly, let's talk about if you are going to be doing silage in a bunker. So if you're picking the grass up with a forage wagon, then you can't use fresh grass, so you're going to need to do at least conditioned grass, or you might choose to head it to semi-dry grass. It's really not going to make any difference because both of those, once they're picked up with a forage wagon, when you tip them into the bunker, will turn into silage grass. That will then ferment into grass silage. So that really doesn't make much difference. And then if you're using a forage wagon with a or a forage harvester with a pickup header, you're going to get conditioned grass out of that as well. So for me, the difference is if you are baling it. And in front of me, I've got three of the Goville stationary balers, because I think this is the nicest way to demonstrate it. And then I've got trailers full of fresh, conditioned and semi-dry grass. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a bale of each of these. So starting with fresh grass, let's fire this guy up. I've already tipped the grass in, so this is fresh grass. And what you're going to notice is the difference is the amount of litres of grass and then grass silage that goes into them, and the mass. And those differences account for the feed value of the bale and then the amount of moisture that's in the bale until it's turned into silage. And there are some little funnies that go on, and that's just down to the way the game mechanic works. So if we have a look at this first bale, you'll see that it's got 5,000 litres of fresh grass in it, and it weighs 1.2 tons. So remember those numbers. We'll jump in the next tractor and let's get that going. So this one has conditioned grass in it. So conditioned grass you can get from either using a mower and turning the conditioner on, or tedding a field of mown fresh grass into conditioned grass. And you'll see with this one, we get an extra 500 litres going into the bale. So because there's a bit less moisture, you get a bit more dry matter in the same physical volume of bale. That's how I tend to think of it. Bear with me, I'm not actually a farmer, just how I kind of think of it. And you'll see that this now weighs 890 kilos, so quite a lot lighter, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So we'll then go to the last baler, and this one has semi-dry grass in it. So if we fire this guy up and get a bale going, so you can probably already guess that this one is again going to have a bit more in it and be a bit lighter. So we'll let this one fill up. This one is going to go to 6,000 litres. So we had 5,000, we had 5,500, and we had 6,000. And I'm just going to go back. I think we were 890 kilos, for this one. And we just let this guy drop off of the baler, and we will see that we have 615 kilos. So it's pretty much half the weight of the fresh grass, and it's got an extra 1,000 litres. And why does that matter? Well, if you're moving these things around the map on a trailer, then it's a lot lighter, so you can maybe move a bit quicker. And also, just if you're handling these bales with maybe something that's a little bit smaller. So I've got a John Deere 6120 here. And this is just a single bale, remember. We're going to ferment them in a moment, but just to give you an idea, if I actually get the bale spike in the bale, this is a single bale, and you can see that this tractor is just about lifting this. So if you had a stack of bales that you wanted to move around, you're gonna need, well, you could just put a big weight on the back, but once you've got 2 or 3 of those, you're gonna need something more hefty to move them, versus if I go over here to the semi-dry bale, it's half the weight, so you know it's going to be that much easier to move many of these around. You can see this one we can just pick up no problem. So kind of the basics are in their unfermented form. You get a lot lighter bale, and you get, as you go from fresh through conditioned to semi-dry, you get more feed value or more liters of product in the bale. So I'm now going to skip ahead time so that these ferment, and you'll see what they look like as fermented bales. We are just coming up to the end of the fermentation process. So if you remember, we had 5,000, 5,500 and 6,000 litres, and we've got bales that weigh 1.2 tons, 890-ish kilos and 615 kilos. So if I just do the last bit of skipping ahead time, we will see that there we go. So you will notice that the mass changes. So we've now got a grass silage bale from our semi-dry grass that's 6,000 litres and 890 kilos. We've got a grass silage bale from our conditioned grass that's 5,500 litres, 890 kilos. And from our fresh grass, 5,000 litres, 890 kilos. So the masses all become the same, but the amount of feed value in them does vary. So, yep. I think the mass thing is just a function of the fact a grass silage bale has to weigh a certain amount. So, yeah, just reflects the fact that I guess there's a bit more moisture in these ones that have come from the fresh grass, so you don't get quite so much feed value out of them. And that's the difference basically. These were 150 centimeter bales, by the way. The 125 and 108 centimeter bales will have different volumes and different masses as well. So, yep. If I remember, I'll stick those values up on the screen now. There you go. So, yep, that is the difference, and that's why normally now when I play, if I'm making silage bales, I will take the time to go to semi-dry grass. The first time I was playing with Maizeplus properly, I made the mistake of making all my silage bales with fresh grass, and I had a lot of, I think I might have even done 180 centimeter round bales, and I had to get in a fairly hefty, I used a JCB 4240 with, I think, like a 3-ton weight on the back to be able to move stacks of 3 bales. It was pretty ridiculous. So yeah, for me it's worth doing the extra step to, and you can TED straight from fresh grass all the way to semi-dry if you want. Yeah, so that's that. If you have any other ideas for videos that you want things explained, then feel free to stick them below. Things that I've got coming in the works. So there was a question about kind of how you manage feeding when you're starting out. You've not got a lot of cash for the different animals, and then scaling up as you get more money. Try and do something around that. I tend to do that in a lot of my Let's Play series. One about haymaking. I think I've done a video on that, but maybe I can do another one. And how, or tedding, and how tedding works, because I think with tedding and Maizeplus, if you don't, tedding is either really easy or really complicated, and if you don't understand the diagram, it can be quite complicated. So I'm going to do a video on working through that, I think. But if there are any others that you can think of, then feel free to stick them below. And yeah, if you found this video useful, then click the like button, and I will see you guys next time.